Welcome to our presentation on visual impairments. We are here to give you a brief overview of what visual impairments are, how prevalent they are, and tips for you as a teacher to incorporate into your future classroom. Our goal is for you to leave our presentation with a better understanding of how to work with students with visual impairments. A visual impairment, also referred to as low vision, is a severe reduction in vision that cannot be corrected with standard glasses or contact lenses. The term includes both partial sight and blindness. It also reduces a person's ability to function at certain or all tasks. According to IDEA, a visual impairment adversely affects a child's educational performance. One example of a visual impairment is color blindness. Color blindness is not a form of blindness, but a deficiency in the way you see color. With this vision problem, you have difficulty distinguishing certain colors such as blue and yellow or red and green. Color blindness, or more accurately color deficiency, is an inherited condition that affects males more frequently than females. A second example of visual impairments are cataracts. A cataract is a clouding of the eye's natural lens, which lies behind the iris and the pupil. This can lead to blurred vision and the inability to see images clearly and distinctly. Cataracts are the most common cause of vision loss in people over the age of 40 and is the principal cause of blindness in the world.
According to World Health Organization, 285 million people are visually impaired worldwide. 39 million of them are blind, and 246 million have low vision. Throughout the world, most people who are visually impaired are 50 or older, and 90% of the world's visually impaired live in developing countries or low-income settings. Education Digest reports that about 29,000 students with visual impairments are receiving special education services. This accounts for 0.5% of students receiving these services. These types of services could include literacy with Braille, large print or audio readers, safe and independent mobility, social interaction, or independent living skills. Warning signs that indicate an adult could have developed a visual impairment include the inability to read far away, squinting to focus vision, and trouble locating familiar objects in a familiar environment. Other possible symptoms could include difficulty getting food onto a utensil, wearing mismatched clothing, and difficulty walking on uneven surfaces. Warning signs of visual impairments in children may include irregular eye movements such as eyes that appear unfocused, constant eye rubbing or covering one eye are behaviors that also indicate a visual impairment. If you notice a child holding a book close to their face or sitting too close to a TV screen, mention these behaviors to their caregiver or pediatrician.
Now that you have a better understanding of what visual impairments are, here are some essential must-know facts. First off, as we learned earlier, there are varying degrees of visual impairments. This means you might walk by someone and not even know they are visually impaired. Less than 2% of people with visual impairments use a white cane to navigate. Most people use dogs or nothing at all. Since there are varying degrees, it is also important to remember that having a visual impairment could vary from the inability to see images clearly, the loss of visual field, difficulty detecting changes in brightness, color blindness, or sensitivity to light. There is not one single solution for students with visual impairments, since all would require different types of support depending on the need. Next, building independence is key. Your goal should be to help the student problem solve instead of immediately providing them with what they need. This will help prepare them with life skills and build confidence. So for example, if a student is asking for something in the classroom, don't just get it for them. Instead, direct them to the object so they are able to learn where and how to find it on their own eventually. It is also important to remember that sensory learning is a critical component of learning for students with visual impairments. Hand touching is the primary information gathering tool used, but the other senses such as smell, taste, and hearing also assist these students. Sensory learning is important because it gives the student the opportunity to fully engage and experience the object or environment. Lastly, although students with visual impairments make up a small percentage of students enrolled in special education programs, it is still important to make the appropriate accommodations or modifications to maintain the best possible learning environment for all students. Up next, we will provide you with a few teacher tricks to utilize in order to best meet the needs of students with visual impairments.
First off, to engage students more fully in the content, provide materials that can assist the student in their learning. There are a lot of assistive technology devices and programs available to students with visual impairments. Teachers can use video magnifiers, optical supports for near viewing, and tactile learning devices to help students in their comprehension. Another tip is to verbally describe classroom activities. It is helpful to have a teacher or student describe what is going on in the classroom. This includes class instruction and group work. How would you describe the action taking place in this photo to a student with a visual impairment? Also, when describing situations to these students, remember to use the name of the person instead of just the pronoun. According to the Texas School for the Blind and the Visually Impaired, students with visual impairments should be given double the amount of time to complete assignments. This could involve exams, classroom activities, or homework assignments. Extended time is helpful because methods such as audio and braille transcripts usually take longer to use. When appropriate, it is important to instruct students as they navigate social situations in the classroom. Create spaces in which a student with a visual impairment is able to integrate well into group work. In addition, teachers can work with these students to better understand physical boundaries and how to hold eye contact. Remember that students with visual impairments can help fellow students as well. You can also make your classroom a multi-sensory space by providing visual, tactile, auditory, and other physical adaptations. One example of a modification to a classroom space would be to label different areas of the classroom with brightly colored signs or furniture so that students with low vision are able to better navigate the space.
It is important to empower students with visual disabilities to find success in your classroom by providing modifications to the environment as well as encouraging students with visual impairments to maintain a sense of independent learning. When given the appropriate modifications or accommodations, these students will be able to reach their personal goals and be just as successful as their peers without visual impairments.
Based on the teaching tips provided, test your knowledge and think of several ways you could change the classroom shown in this picture in order to best empower students with visual impairments. How would you organize the desks? Would you use different colors? How would you alter your activities to ensure students with visual impairments are fully engaged? Now we hope you feel more confident in working with students with visual impairments. Thanks for watching!